Shalom. Any successful parent or teacher, if they want to try and pique the interest of their students or their children, knows that they have to ask something that's going to raise a question. I'll give you an example. How is this week's Parsha, Parshat Ki Tavo, connected to Parshat Bereshis? A person opens up Sefer Dvarim, they flip the Ki Tavo, they read the first psukim, and what do they find? And it will be when you come to the land which Hashem your God is going to give to you, and you're going to grow fruits. I'm obviously paraphrasing, look for the real verse inside. And you're going to grow fruits, you're going to take from the first fruits of the land, the first fruits of the land, the Reishis ha'adama, as it's called in the Torah. You're going to take from the first fruits of the land, you're going to put them in a basket, you're going to bring them to Yerushalayim, you're going to give them to the Kohen, and you're going to say an entire speech in front of the Kohen. Then you're going to bow down and you're going to leave. How is that Parsha connected to Parshat Bereshis? Well, I gave you a hint. Bereshit, Reishit, right? Parshat Ki Tavo, Bikurim are called Reishis ha'adama. And there's an opinion in the Midrash on Parshat Bereshis that says Bereshit, for the sake of Reishit. For the sake of Reishit. What's the Reishit being referred to, says the Midrash? Bikurim, this whole act of Reishit ha'adama, the act of putting it in a basket, bringing it to the Beit HaMikdash. For that the world was created. It seems a little strange that for such a small act, the world should have been created. This teaches us two incredible lessons. Number one, yes, for even a small mitzvah, the entire world, the entire universe was worthy of being built. But even more than that. The Midrash in Reishis says, because there's a very important secret, a powerful lesson for life that we learn from this week's Parsha, that we learn from Parshat Bereshis. And that is as follows. Why does a person bring Bikurim? Why does a person bring these fruits to Beit HaMikdash in the first place? He brings them because he wants to show, I recognize the good I have in my life. If you read the speech that he says in front of the Kohen, it says basically that. He says, I recognize, Hashem, that you took us out of Egypt. And I recognize you brought us to land. And I recognize that you gave us this wonderful land. And I recognize that the fruits that grew in this land are in your merit. I recognize all that, and I brought this to show you that I appreciate everything. And Rashi says on that, she'eneni kfui tova, that I'm not a person who knows that I got good from others and ignores it. The incredible, powerful lesson that we learned from this week's Parsha is that if you want a powerful, happy life, you have to learn the lesson of hakaras hatov. You need to recognize the good that you have in life. And not only that, you need to do it one better. You need to show that you appreciate the good that you got from other people. And there's a very powerful story that I heard connected to this. Once upon a time, there was a businessman who was walking the streets of Jerusalem. On that day, he needed to go back to Ben Gurion. He needed to catch a flight in order to fly back to America. Right, this is the end of his tour. Anyway, he's standing in line in Yerushalayim at a restaurant waiting to get a slice of pizza. He's always looking at his watch. And the guy standing in front of him says, I realize that you're a little bit under pressure. Perhaps you'll go in front of me. I'll let you go first. The guy thanked him profusely. He went, he bought a slice of pizza, walked out of the store. 10 steps later, boom, the entire store blew up. That was Sbarro. The year was 2001. The businessman picked himself up from the ground. He looked around, and once he got over the initial shock, he realized that he was alive in the merit of that guy that gave him his place, that let him cut the line in front of him. And he said to himself, I don't care what it takes. I'm going to find that guy because I owe him my life. He searched the hospitals in Yerushalayim until finally he found him. The man was unconscious at the time. Sitting next to him was his son. The man reaches into his pocket, takes out his business card and says, here, I'm a successful businessman in America. Whenever your father needs something, he needs to come to America. You call me, I'll take care of it. A few months later, the guy gets a call. He says, hi, this is the son of the guy that, you gave me your card in Israel. And he said, of course I remember. How can I help? And the guy says, my father needs to come to America. He has a very, very difficult surgery he needs to do in Boston. And the guy hears this. He says, don't worry, I'll take care of everything. He arranged the best doctor and the best surgeon. He arranged for a place for them to stay. And on the day that the man came for surgery, he left his office in Manhattan and he went to sit with the guy by his bed in Boston. While he was waiting, he turns on the news, and what does he hear? His place of business has been destroyed because his place of business was in the Twin Towers. It's only in the merit of this person's recognition, his hakaras hatov, for the act, the minor, small, tiny act that this guy did, that he was saved. And that's the power of hakaras hatov. Hakaras Tov does not only make your personal life better. Hakaras Tov does not only make your personal life happier, but Hakaras Tov is the springboard that you need to make the world happier too. A person that recognizes the good, who acknowledges the good that he gets from others and passes it on, makes the world a better place. And that's the lesson of Bikurim. And yes, for that the world was Kedai to be created. Shabbat Shalom.